What's a black woman like you doing in a car this nice? Prostitution paying that well? Cooper shoves Faith Bennett against the hood of her Honda at the Shell station on exit 160. Her face collides with metal forcefully, while three white officers press her body flat, and onlookers record without offering assistance. This is profiling. This is what occurs when you're black and driving through predominantly white counties. Quote, 1. Quote, 2. He wrenches her arm until bone scrapes against bone. Quote, 3. Her cheek presses against the cold steel, his knee crushing her spine as he searches for any justification for this brutality. His hand reaches the glove compartment and yanks it open. That's when Faith produces her badge and flashes it directly into his face. An FBI federal agent's gold shield gleams under the lights, and Cooper freezes instantly, because the black woman he's pinning is not who he assumed. She's the only person capable of ending him. Witness what happens when the prey transforms into the predator. 73 minutes of driving have passed when Faith Bennett realizes she's nearly out of gas. The Honda Accord, 12 years old, fully paid off, and dependable, registers 180,000 miles somewhere between exits 158 and 159 on Interstate 85, just north of the Georgia-South Carolina border. It's Friday night, 9:15 p.m. Darkness fell an hour ago, and the March chill seeps through the cracked window she keeps open because the heater runs too hot. She's singing off-key. Luther Vandross plays on a station that fades in and out as she travels between cell towers. The back seat holds evidence of her intentions. A shopping bag contains homemade brownies, which her 12-year-old son helped prepare. There's also a scarf, still in its packaging, as her mother had mentioned feeling cold. Faith hasn't been home in 6 months. The case in Atlanta had consumed her. Financial fraud, civil rights violations, the kind of work that lingers even in sleep. But tonight, she's simply a daughter driving to see her mother. Nothing more complex than that. The Honda's fuel light begins to blink. She consults the GPS. Exit 162, a Shell station. She'll stop for gas, grab some terrible coffee, perhaps a bag of chips she doesn't require. A patrol car passes her, heading south. It's white with a blue stripe, Unit 419. She notes it because noticing is her ingrained habit. 14 years as an FBI agent have trained her to catalog details subconsciously. However, the car is traveling in the opposite direction. So she redirects her attention to Luther Vandross and the road ahead. 20 years ago, Faith was 19, sitting in almost this exact predicament. A different car, the same highway, the same knot of apprehension in her stomach. That officer never provided a reason for the stop, merely making her stand in the cold while he searched her belongings. He questioned the source of her college funds, implying a full academic scholarship was unattainable for someone who looked like her. She wept the entire drive back to campus that night. The following week, she changed her major from education to criminal justice. She decided that if the system was flawed, she would mend it from within. 20 years later, she's still attempting to do so. Exit 160 appears. Faith signals, merges right, and follows the curve of the off-ramp. The Shell station emits a neon blue glow against the darkness. A single truck is parked at the far pump. Otherwise, the station is empty. She pulls in, selects regular unleaded, and lifts the nozzle. The pump clicks and hums. Gas flows. She leans against the car, checking her phone. 3 missed calls from her son. A smile touches her lips, and she begins to dial back. Headlights sweep across the parking lot. A patrol car, white with a blue stripe, Unit 419, pulls in behind her. Not at a pump, but directly behind her car, effectively blocking her in. The engine idles roughly and unevenly. Faith's grip tightens on her phone. Muscle memory from 20 years ago floods back. But she's no longer 19. She's a federal agent. She has done nothing wrong. This is likely nothing. The driver's door opens. Heavy boots strike the concrete. Faith places her phone in her pocket, keeping her hands visible. She waits. The officer appears in her peripheral vision. Young, perhaps early 30s, with a closely cropped military-style blonde haircut. His hand rests on his holster, not gripping it, merely positioned as a reminder. He offers no greeting. He doesn't explain his presence. He states, quote, "Oh." And Faith Bennett knows this is far from nothing. Cooper, the name on his badge reads, Officer Ryan Cooper of the Hartwell County Sheriff's Department. Faith reads it as she slowly reaches toward her glove compartment. Hands where I can see them, Cooper commands. Faith pauses. Officer, I am reaching for my registration. You just asked for it. Do it slowly. She complies. She retrieves the registration and her license from her wallet, handing them over. Cooper accepts them without meeting her gaze. He's inspecting the car instead. The Honda is old but immaculate. Out-of-state plates, Georgia tags. Quote, 4. Cooper inquires. Quote, 5. Quote, 6. Quote, 7. Cooper's eyes briefly flash toward her face. A flicker of something crosses his expression, not conviction, something akin to skepticism. Federal employee, what capacity? Faith carefully chooses her words. I work for the Justice Department. It isn't a falsehood. The FBI is part of justice, but she refrains from mentioning it yet. Some instinct urges her to wait. Cooper walks back to his patrol car, taking her documents with him, offering no explanation for the stop, nor mentioning any traffic violation. Faith has committed none. She was traveling at 63 Emotion Surrey, 65 Mulby Zone. All lights were functional. Her turn signal was used. She waits. She counts the seconds. 90, 120. Another patrol car arrives. Unit 319. A younger officer exits. His name tag reads Davis. He approaches Cooper's window. They converse. Faith can't discern their words, but she observes Davis glancing in her direction twice. Then a third car appears. Unit 225, Officer Martinez. 3 officers now, 1 woman at a gas station who has committed no offense. Faith's heart rate accelerates. She understands what this is. She feels it in her core, but understanding doesn't diminish the terror. Cooper returns. Davis and Martinez follow, encircling her in a triangular formation. Ma'am, step out of the vehicle. Faith takes a breath. Officer Cooper, can you tell me why I'm being stopped? I asked you to step out of the vehicle. I would like to know the reason before I step out. Faith complies slowly, keeping her hands visible, no sudden movements. She's undergone extensive training for this, not as a victim, but as an investigator. Yet, the training doesn't prepare you for the profound sense of insignificance when 3 armed men surround you in a public space. She steps out, closes the door gently, turns around, and places her hands on the vehicle. Officer, I haven't... Cooper's hand presses firmly between her shoulder blades, exerting control. Faith's chest is compressed against the cold metal, the hood of her Honda. The aroma of gasoline intensifies, her palms flat against the surface. Officer, you are using force without... You do not have consent to search my vehicle, Faith states. Her voice remains steady, composed. She has practiced this tone in courtrooms, during interrogations, in moments when panic would jeopardize everything. Cooper opens her back door anyway. He begins to search the bag containing brownies and her mother's scarf. Nothing illegal, nothing suspicious, everything innocent. A truck pulls into the lot across the way. A teenager pumps gas, phone in hand, recording. Faith sees the screen illuminate. She is being filmed. This should feel like protection. Somehow, it feels like exposure. Davis steps close behind her, too close. She hears his breathing, smelling coffee on his breath. Martinez stands to her left, silent and seemingly uncomfortable, yet he doesn't speak up. He doesn't question, doesn't intervene. Cooper moves to the front seat and opens the glove compartment. Faith's badge wallet is situated right there. The black leather FBI seal is visible if one looks closely. Cooper sees it. She observes his hand hesitate. He glances at her, then closes the compartment without touching it. He senses its presence. He chooses to disregard it. The unspoken message is clear. Your identity is irrelevant. Faith makes a decision. Officer Cooper, I will inform you that I am a federal agent. I need you to keep your hands on the vehicle. My credentials are in the glove compartment. I am Special Agent Faith Bennett with the Federal Bureau of... Cooper interrupts her. I don't care what you think you are. You are detained. His voice carries across the parking lot. The teenager with the phone records everything, and somewhere behind her, Faith's phone, still recording from her pocket, captures every word. 17 minutes. That's how long Faith Bennett stands with her hands on a car hood at the Shell station on exit 160, without being informed of any reason. 17 minutes while Officer Ryan Cooper searches a vehicle he has no legal right to access, while Davis stands behind her like a guard, while Martinez shifts his weight from foot to foot, looking anywhere but at her face. 17 minutes while the world watches. The teenager's TikTok goes live. 200 views in 4 minutes. Comments begin to flood in. "This is insane!" And same spot as before. Call the news. Within 6 minutes, a woman in an SUV initiates a Facebook live stream. The footage is shaky, but the audio is clear. Faith hears her own voice, steady and controlled, requesting the reason for the stop. Here's Cooper, ignoring her. Someone in the comments types, "Wams, it's quote, zvrr." Faith doesn't grasp the significance yet. She will. Inside the convenience store, Kevin Harris stands behind the register. 26 years old, he's worked at this station for 3 years. He's witnessed this before. Not similar situations, but this exact scenario. The same officers, the same stretch of road, the same profiling, different individuals, the same pattern repeats. Kevin checks the security system. 4 cameras, all recording. The timestamps sync automatically. 21:70, 21:22, 21:28, 21:34. He makes a note on his phone. He's been keeping notes for 6 months. He doesn't know why. He simply feels someone ought to. Cooper finishes searching the trunk. Nothing. He moves to the back seat. Gift bags, homemade brownies wrapped in foil, a scarf with price tags still attached. Evidence of an ordinary life. He finds nothing because there is nothing to find, but he's not finished. Quote, 1. Cooper states, "It's not a compliment, but a question veiled as an observation. What did you say you do for work? I already told you, a federal employee. Must pay well." He glances at her watch. "It's not expensive, just a Timex her son gave her for Christmas." That's genuine. Faith understands his intention. She's encountered it in case files, the phishing, establishing grounds for seizing assets, civil forfeiture procedures masked as casual conversation. "I'm not answering any more questions without knowing why I'm being detained." Cooper's expression hardens. "You're detained because I say so. That's not how the law operates. I am the law here." 4 words, 17 syllables, enough to encapsulate an entire system. Davis shifts behind her. His radio crackles. Dispatch requests a status update. He doesn't respond. Cooper hasn't logged the stop. Protocol dictates notification within 2 minutes of initial contact. They are now 20 minutes in. No call, no radio check, completely off the record. Faith meticulously notes everything. Every infraction, every procedural deviation. Her FBI training compels her to do so. Martinez finally breaks his silence. "Coop, maybe we should shut up." Martinez falls silent. He remains quiet. The gas pump clicks off. Faith's tank is full. Under normal circumstances, she would remove the nozzle, pay, and leave. Instead, the nozzle hangs loosely, gas fumes rising into the cold air, as 3 officers create a spectacle of a woman whose sole offense is driving while black. Faith's phone lies on the ground, having fallen when Cooper shoved her against the car. The screen is cracked, but the red recording light still glows. She is unaware of the teenager's 400,000 TikTok views. She doesn't know about the Facebook Live with 200 concurrent viewers. She doesn't know someone tagged the local news, that a reporter is now viewing the live stream on his laptop and making calls. She only knows what is directly before her. 3 officers, no explanation, and a choice. She can comply silently, let this unfold, and file a complaint tomorrow that will likely disappear into a system designed to protect men like Cooper. Or she can reveal what they overlooked. Faith speaks, her voice calm and clear. "Officer Cooper, for the record, I request that you retrieve my badge wallet from the glove compartment." Cooper stops and turns. "What?" "My credentials. A black leather wallet. In the right side of the glove compartment. You saw it earlier." Cooper's jaw tightens. He did see it. They both know it. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do." Silence. Not a peaceful silence, but the kind that precedes an impending rupture. Cooper walks to the passenger door, opens it, and then opens the glove compartment. His hand closes around the badge wallet. He pulls it out slowly. The moment stretches, elongates. Everyone watching understands that a shift is imminent. Cooper opens the wallet, a gold badge, the FBI seal, embossed lettering, Federal Bureau of Investigation, a photo ID, Faith Bennett, title, Special Agent. Cooper's face contorts in a way that faces do when the ground vanishes beneath them. Color drains, eyes widen, his mouth opens, but no sound emerges. 11 seconds of silence. Faith counts them. 11 seconds where the only audible sounds are the diesel engines on I-85 and the wind whistling through the gas station canopy. Then, Faith speaks. Special Agent Faith Bennett, Civil Rights Division, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Badge number 0392. Now, Officer Cooper, I will ask you again. What is the reason for this stop? Cooper doesn't answer. He can't. Behind Faith, Davis visibly steps back. A physical retreat. Martinez's hand lowers from his belt, from his radio, from his weapon, as if wanting no part of what is about to transpire. Cooper's voice, when it finally surfaces, is different, diminished. This doesn't change anything. Faith looks directly at him. Actually, Officer Cooper, it changes everything. The universe inverts within the space of a breath. 20 seconds ago, Faith Bennett was a detainee, hands pressed against a car, officers dictating her movements. Now, she is the one asking questions, and the men with badges and guns are speechless. Davis backs up another step, literally retreating. His body camera, its green light illuminated, captures everything. Martinez's camera is also recording. However, Cooper's camera displays a red light. Off. It has been off the entire time. A malfunction, he will later claim. A convenient malfunction. Faith recognizes this moment. She has studied it, testified about it in federal court. The instant when individuals realize that the power they presume to be absolute has limitations, boundaries, and consequences. Cooper still holds her badge wallet. His hands tremble slightly. I require your name, badge number, and supervisor's information, Faith states. Not asking, but demanding. You already know my name. Cooper's voice conveys defiance, yet it is hollow, a performance devoid of conviction. I need your badge number, 4119, your supervisor. Cooper hesitates. Sergeant Jenkins. And the reason for this stop? Silence descends again. Longer this time. 15 seconds, 20. Faith allows the silence to persist. Silence is also evidence. Your vehicle matched the description of one involved in an earlier incident, Cooper finally states. What incident? A reported suspicious vehicle in the area. Incident report number? Cooper's jaw works. I would have to look that up. You would have to look up the report that justified detaining a federal agent for 21 minutes and searching her vehicle without consent. I had reasonable suspicion of what? Another pause. Cooper's eyes dart towards Davis and Martinez, seeking support. Neither man meets his gaze. Your vehicle is a 12-year-old Honda Accord with current registration and no violations. What specifically made it suspicious? Cooper offers no answer. He cannot fabricate one quickly enough. Faith continues, relentless but controlled. You did not log the stop. Protocol requires notification within 2 minutes. Why? Radio malfunction. Your body camera is off. Why? Equipment failure. How convenient. Faith lets that sink in. Then, I am going to leave now. I expect a comprehensive incident report filed within 24 hours. I expect all dash cam and body camera footage to be preserved. I expect your supervisor's name, direct line, and availability for an interview. Cooper nods almost imperceptibly. Faith walks to her phone, bends down, and picks it up. The screen is cracked but functional. Recording time, 23 minutes, 18 seconds. She stops the recording and saves it to 3 separate cloud locations while the officers watch. She hangs up the gas nozzle, closes her gas cap, and gets into her car. Cooper starts to speak, stops, and tries again. Agent Bennett. Faith looks at him through the open window. Officer Cooper, you have the right to remain silent. I would advise you to exercise it until you have an attorney present. She starts the engine, shifts into drive. In her rearview mirror, 3 officers stand motionless, simply standing there in the neon glow of a gas station where they believed they held power. Faith drives away. 3 miles down the road, her hands begin to shake. An adrenaline dump. Delayed shock. She pulls onto the shoulder, places the car in park, and grips the steering wheel until her knuckles ache. She has been a federal agent for 14 years. She has confronted armed suspects, testified against cartels, and walked into rooms where she was the only woman and the only person of color. None of it prepared her for 23 minutes at a gas station. She knows what she must do next. She also knows how challenging it will be. Faith takes out her phone, opens her contacts, and finds the number for the FBI Atlanta field office. Internal Affairs Supervisory Special Agent Rodriguez. She doesn't call yet, just looks at the number. Tomorrow, she tells herself. Tomorrow, she will make this official. Tonight, she just wants to see her mother. But even as she thinks it, she knows tomorrow will not be soon enough. She makes the call. By Saturday morning at 8 a.m., Faith Bennett has filed 3 separate complaints: the FBI Civil Rights Division, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and Hartwell County Sheriff's Office Internal Affairs. She doesn't expect all 3 to take her seriously. She is wrong. Agent Rodriguez calls her back within an hour. Faith, I saw the video. Everyone has seen the video. Faith is standing in her mother's kitchen, her coffee growing cold on the counter. What video? TikTok, Facebook, Twitter? You've been viral since midnight. 400,000 views when I checked 10 minutes ago. Faith sits down. She didn't post anything. She hadn't yet sent the footage anywhere. But the bystanders did. The teenager at the pump, the woman in the SUV. They witnessed injustice unfold in real time and decided the world needed to see it. I need to open a formal investigation, Rodriguez says. But Faith, you know the protocols. You can't lead. It's a conflict of interest. I'm the victim and the investigator. That's not a conflict, it's expertise. It's also emotional involvement. And that's precisely what defense attorneys will use to dismantle anything we build. Faith understands, hates it, but understands. Who is taking the lead? Jenkins. You will consult, but that's it. They talk for another 20 minutes. Rodriguez is thorough and professional. By the time they hang up, Faith knows the Bureau is taking this seriously. It helps. Not enough, but it helps. Her phone rings again before she can put it down. Unknown number. Faith almost declines. Then, this is Agent Bennett. Agent Bennett, my name is Sarah Williams. I'm a civil rights attorney with the Southern Justice Coalition. I saw the video. Actually, I've been waiting for this video for 3 years. Sarah speaks rapidly, precisely. The kind of person who spent years building a case in their head and finally has an opening to present it. She has been tracking the Hartwell County Sheriff's Department since 2021. It began after a client, Marcus Thompson, was stopped at exit 160. His vehicle was seized. $8,000 in cash was taken under civil asset forfeiture. He was never charged with a crime. He never got his money back. I thought it was an isolated incident, Sarah says. Then another client, same location, same story, then another. I started documenting. How many? Faith asks. At least 31 that I'm aware of, but I suspect it's more. A lot more. Faith senses a shift. This is no longer about her. It never was. She was merely the one equipped with the badge and the platform to retaliate. Quote, Sarah asks pro bono. Quote, 1. Faith doesn't hesitate. Yes. By midday, Faith finds herself in Sarah's Atlanta office. It's a small space crammed with filing cabinets, its walls adorned with maps and timelines, and photographs of a highway exit that appears identical in every shot. Sarah lays documents across her desk. Freedom of Information Act requests, public records, budget reports, complaints filed and inexplicably lost. 3 years of diligent, systematic documentation. This is Devin Taylor, Sarah introduces, gesturing towards a man in his 30s, a laptop in front of him, his eyes weary. Investigative reporter with the Atlanta Tribune. He's been pursuing this as well. Quote, Agent Bennett, you had quite a night. Quote, 1. That's one way to put it, Faith replies. Devin turns his laptop around. A spreadsheet, color-coded with hundreds of rows. Traffic stop data for Hartwell County, he explains. I've been requesting it for 18 months. They kept impeding me. Your incident provided me with the legal standing to push harder. The judge ordered its release this morning. Quote, 4. 127 stops on Interstate 85 between exits 155 and 165 in the last 6 months. 63 specifically at exit 160. Quote, 805. Then demographics? Quote, Dipper 6. 89% people of color. Quote, Naston, area demographics are 62% white, 23% black, 15% Hispanic, and other. Quote, 8. The disparity is statistically significant at p less than 0.01. It's not random, it's deliberate. Quote 9, 127 people, 127 moments like mine. Except most of them didn't have a badge, didn't have resources, didn't have the power to fight back. There's more. Quote 11, internal affairs files. It took a court order to unseal them. Quote 12, Officer Ryan Cooper, 17 complaints over 4 years. Quote 13, Complaint 1, excessive force during arrest. Suspect's arm broken. Finding within policy. She continues, Complaint 4, racial slur during traffic stop. Witnessed by passenger. Finding insufficient evidence. Complaint 9, illegal search. Drugs allegedly found but later dismissed by judge. Finding, officer acted in good faith. Complaint 17, woman alleges sexual harassment during stop. Finding, unfounded. Faith looks up, stunned. 17 complaints, 0 disciplinary actions, not even retraining, not even a written warning. That's what institutional protection looks like. Quote 1, now look at this. Quote 2, department budget, fiscal year 2023 to 2024. Line item 4, 7.1. Traffic citation revenue target $420,000. Line item 47.2. Traffic enforcement revenue target $850,000. Total department budget $6.2 million. Quote 3. Revenue from traffic enforcement 14%. Quote 4. They have a quota. Quote 5. Not officially. Quote 6. Officially, quotas are illegal in Georgia. But look at line item 5.3. Damned quote 7. Officer performance bonuses tied to productivity metrics. 25 stops per month minimum. Bonuses range from $500 to $1,000 quarterly. Quote 8. They monetize civil rights violations. Quote 9. Turn police work into a profit center. Quote 10. Nascar siasis. Email records obtained through FOIA after your incident gave them cause. Ibasi. Quote 11. Gentlemen, we're $47,000 under target for the quarter. Need to see those numbers up. Ryan, Cooper, and Jenkins are setting the standard. Let's see the rest of you match it. Remember what we talked about? Interstate corridor, out-of-state plates, nice vehicles, low-hanging fruit. Quote 12. He put it in writing. On dadao, quote 13. He didn't think anyone would ever see it, Sarah replies. They worked through lunch, through the afternoon, meticulously constructing the case, not just against Cooper, but against the system that spawned him, shielded him, profited from him. By 4 p.m., they have a timeline, a pattern, statistical evidence that would withstand any courtroom scrutiny. Devin's phone buzzes, he checks it, his expression going still. What? Sarah asks. Southern Poverty Law Center just published their analysis, Devin reports. They ran the numbers independently, same conclusion, called it one of the most egregious examples of systemic racial profiling in the Southeast. The story is escalating beyond their immediate control, transcending Faith's personal ordeal to become something far greater. Faith's phone rings, her mother. Baby, there are news trucks outside the house. What's happening? Faith closes her eyes. Mama, I'm sorry. I'll handle it. Don't apologize for doing what's right. But Faith, be careful. These people don't like being exposed. Her mother understands. She understands in a way only those who have endured similar experiences can. I will, Mama. Faith hangs up, looking at Sarah and Devin. How fast can this move? Sarah considers. With federal involvement, with evidence this strong, quickly. But there will be pushback, serious pushback. Let them push, Faith says. Devin is typing. I'm publishing Monday, front page, full investigation, every document, every statistic. I'm calling it the revenue pipeline, how one county turns civil rights into cash. They're going to come after you, Faith warns. Let them, Devin replies without looking up from his laptop. I've been waiting 3 years to write this story. By 6 p.m., Faith drives back to her mother's house. The news vans are gone, but a patrol car sits 2 houses down. Unit 225. Officer Martinez is simply sitting there, watching. Message received. We know where you live. Faith parks, gets out, and walks towards her mother's door, deliberately not looking at the patrol car. She won't give them that satisfaction. Inside, her mother has dinner waiting, pot roast, the kind that requires all day, the kind that conveys love without words. They eat in silence for a while. Then Gloria Bennett speaks. Your father tried to do this once. Faith looks up. What? 1987. He was a deputy, tried to report corruption, kickbacks, asset seizures that disappeared. A month later, his car ran off the road. They said he fell asleep at the wheel. Faith sets down her fork. You never told me this. You were 3 years old. What was I going to tell you? That they killed your father for trying to do the right thing. Do you really think? I don't know, baby. But I know his brake lines were fine when I dropped him at work that morning. And I know the investigation lasted exactly 2 days before they called it an accident. Gloria reaches across the table, taking Faith's hand. Quote 7. Quote. Expressed. Quote 9. They sit in silence, hands clasped across the table. 2 generations of black women who have witnessed the consequences of challenging power. Outside, Officer Martinez's patrol car starts, driving away slowly. But Faith knows he'll be back. They always come back. The system didn't generate $850,000 in annual revenue by allowing one federal agent to dismantle it. By Monday morning, Faith Bennett becomes a problem, requiring containment. Sheriff Tom Bradley calls a press conference for 2 p.m. at the Hartwell County Administration Building with an American flag backdrop and local news cameras, including those from Atlanta. The story has now gone regional. Bradley stands at the podium, 56 years old, sheriff for 12 years, up for re-election in November. I want to address the incident that occurred Friday evening involving one of our officers and a federal agent. He begins, his voice measured, practiced. Let me be clear. The conduct displayed by Officer Ryan Cooper does not represent the values of this department. He pauses, letting the statement resonate. This was an isolated incident involving a single officer who may have exercised poor judgment. He continues, Officer Cooper has been placed on administrative leave pending an internal investigation. Isolated incident, single officer. The phrases are deliberate, surgical, intended to limit the damage. Our department has served this community with distinction for over 50 years. One officer's actions should not tarnish the reputation of the 47 dedicated men and women who wear this badge with honor. A reporter raises her hand. Sheriff Bradley. Records show Officer Cooper has 17 prior complaints. Why was he still on active duty? Bradley's smile doesn't reach his eyes. Personnel matters are confidential. Next question. What about reports of a quota system for traffic stops? Another reporter asks. This department does not operate on quotas. That would be illegal. We have performance standards like any organization. Next question. The email you sent in February specifically mentioned revenue targets and suggested targeting out-of-state vehicles. How is that not a quota? Bradley's jaw tightens. That email has been taken out of context. I was discussing general patrol strategies, not mandating specific numbers. Faith watches from her mother's living room. Every word he utters is technically defensible, legally sound, and utterly deceitful. Her phone rings. Sarah Williams. Did you see it? Watching now, Faith replies. He just threw Cooper under the bus and protected the system. That's the strategy. Quote 9. Sacrifice the individual, save the institution. We need to move faster. Quote 10. He's been there an hour, she stated. I know, Mama, Faith replied. This isn't right. Quote 13. No, it's not. Faith stepped outside. Davis started his engine and drove away slowly, ensuring she noticed his departure. The following day, it was Martinez, a different officer, but delivering the same veiled threat. We know where your mother lives. The anonymous calls began on Tuesday. They consisted of heavy breathing, hang-ups, and a single male voice, rough in tone. You should have stayed in your lane, Agent Bennett, one call stated. Another warned, Feds aren't welcome here. Faith meticulously reported every call, obtaining case numbers and filing reports, but no action was taken. Thursday morning, her supervisor called C. Rodriguez. His tone was noticeably different, cautious. Faith, I need you back in Atlanta. I'm working the case from here. You're not working the case. Jenkins is. You're consulting. And right now, you need to consult from the office. Sir, this isn't a request. You're too close, emotionally involved. Defense attorneys will use that to tear apart everything we build. I'm the victim. That's not emotional involvement. That's standing ground. It's also a liability. Faith, I'm trying to protect you. I don't need protection. I need support. You have support. A federal investigation is open. A pattern and practice review is underway. But you need to step back. Let the process work. Faith wanted to argue but knew it would be futile. When? Rodriguez asked. Monday. Report to the Atlanta field office. You'll brief Jenkins. Then you're reassigned temporarily. Different case. Different jurisdiction. You're sidelining me. I'm protecting the integrity of the investigation. And you. The call concluded. Faith sat in her childhood bedroom, surrounded by boxes of case files. 127 names, 127 stories. And she was being removed from the case she initiated that night. Her mother sat with her at the kitchen table, coffee between them. Baby, maybe, Gloria began, then stopped. Maybe this one you let go. Faith looked up. Mama, I know you can't, but I'm asking anyway. Gloria's voice cracked. Quote, 1. They sat in silence. Outside, another patrol car drove by, slow and deliberate. Faith's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Drop it. 2 words, a clear message. She stared at the words, contemplating her mother's fear, her son hearing false accusations at school, her career potentially jeopardized, everything at risk. Then she thought of Marcus Thompson. $8,000 stolen and evicted because he couldn't make rent. Kesha Williams, detained for 4 hours and fired for missing her shift. 127 people who lacked the power to fight back. Faith deleted the text and called Sarah Williams. We're not stopping. Sheriff Bradley's attorney released a statement following the press conference. Quote, 4. The statement made no mention of the email chain bearing the sheriff's signature dated February 28th, nor the budget documents outlining revenue targets. There comes a moment in every struggle where one questions its worth. For Faith Bennett, that moment arrived in a Hampton Inn off exit 142, 30 miles from where it all began. Thursday night, March 20th. She had been ordered back to Atlanta but had not yet departed. She couldn't bear to face her mother's worry or the office where she would be reassigned to less significant cases. The room was permeated with the scent of industrial detergent and loneliness, a chemical pine aroma failing to mask the staleness of countless previous occupants. Faith sat on the edge of the bed, neither turning on the television nor checking her phone, simply observing the desk adorned with case files. 127 names compiled from Devin's data and Sarah's client list. Each name represented an individual, a narrative, a transgression. Marcus Thompson lost $8,000, evicted 2 months later. Kesha Williams, detained for 4 hours, missed her shift, fired the following day. James Rodriguez, suffering from PTSD from the stop, still reluctant to drive that highway. Patricia Johnson, a 30-year educator in the county, treated like a criminal at 62 years old. Faith's hands trembled, not from fear, but from exhaustion, from the burden of carrying 127 people suffering while being instructed to step aside. Her phone rang, caller ID, Marcus, her son. She almost didn't answer, not wanting him to hear her in this state, but she knew he would worry more if she didn't pick up. Mom? His voice cracked. He had been crying. Faith closed her eyes. Baby, what's wrong? Kids at school, they're saying things. Silence. Then they said you got arrested, that you lied about being FBI, that you're trying to get attention. Faith's heart shattered. 12 years old, already learning how the world protects power and scrutinizes victims. Quote 1. Quote. Faith gripped the phone, wishing she could reach through it and hold him. Quote, Quote, 4. He paused, his voice smaller now. Quote, 5. 12 years old, already grasping a reality she had hoped he would never have to learn so young. Quote, 6. Quiet breathing. Quote, 7. He asked, a role reversal, the child comforting the parent. Quote, 8. Quote, 9. Quote, 10. Faith's voice caught. Tears she had held back for 5 days finally broke through. Thank you, baby. I love you. I love you too. The call ended. Faith sat in the dark, crying. Not the elegant tears of movies, but the ugly, deep-seated kind that shakes your entire body. She remembered being 19, on a different highway, experiencing the same fear. That officer had made her stand in the cold for 40 minutes, searched everything, and questioned how she afforded college, as if a full scholarship was impossible for someone who looked like her. She had cried for the entire drive back that night, changed her major to criminal justice, and decided to fix the system from within. 20 years later, still crying, still fighting, still questioning if anything truly changed. Faith lay back on the hotel bed, gazing at the ceiling, its textured white surface, a water stain in the corner, acoustic tiles that had absorbed too many stories like hers. Her phone buzzed. She ignored it. It buzzed again. She picked it up. A message from her mother. I'm praying for you, baby. Come home when you're ready. Another message. Sarah Williams. 14 more people came forward today. 14 because of you. Another Devin Taylor. Article runs Monday. Front page. They can't stop it now. Quote, Special Agent Bennett, this is Lieutenant James Anderson, Internal Affairs. I have something you need to see. Are you available to meet? Quote, Agent Bennett, this is James Anderson, IA. Don't call this number. Can we meet? I have something you need to see. Faith typed back. Where? Waffle House, exit 150, 8 a.m. Come alone. She arrived early. Anderson was already there, in the back booth, dressed in plain clothes, no uniform. Mid-40s, a weathered face, eyes that had witnessed too much. He slid a manila envelope across the table without a greeting. I could lose my pension for this. Faith did not touch the envelope yet. Why are you doing it? Anderson looked at his coffee. Because I've watched good cops get pushed out and bad cops get promoted for 22 years. Because my daughter is your son's age. Because I took an oath that didn't have an asterisk. Quote, 6. Can't testify yet, Anderson stated. Anderson, they'll destroy me, but soon, when the federal investigation goes formal. Until then, use these. He left cash for their breakfast and departed without looking back. Faith had an ally on the inside once more. By noon, Sarah Williams's phone was incessantly ringing. 14 people in one day, all calling after seeing news coverage, all with the same story. Exit 160, stopped without cause, searched without consent, money seized, property taken, never charged, never compensated. Marcus Thompson called first, the original client who had initiated Sarah's investigation 3 years prior. I thought I was alone. I'm not alone. Keisha Williams, 29, a nurse. Exit 160, 11 p.m. He asked where I got money for my scrubs, like I stole them. James Rodriguez, 44, a contractor, had $3,200 taken from his truck, cash from a job. Said it was suspicious. She never charged me. She never returned my property. Patricia Johnson, 52, a teacher. I've dedicated 30 years to educating in this county. He spoke to me as if I were insignificant. One couple's situation defied expectations. White, with out-of-state plates, driving a nice car. We initially assumed it was an isolated incident. Perhaps we appeared suspicious. Then we watched Agent Bennett's video, and we understood. It's the location, the established pattern, that targets everyone perceived as having wealth. This isn't solely racial profiling, it's economic exploitation. On Saturday evening, a community meeting was organized by Sarah and local activists at New Hope Baptist Church. Pastor Jerome Wilson readily offered the church's facilities. We anticipated maybe 40 attendees. Over 200 people showed up, representing 5 counties. News crews from Atlanta, Augusta, and Savannah were present. This story has transcended Hartwell, evolving into a regional, perhaps even national, concern. Pastor Wilson commenced the meeting, stating, "This church has always been a sanctuary. Tonight, it is a sanctuary from injustice." Faith spoke with reluctance. She was uncomfortable being the public face of this movement, a role she never sought. Yet, she stood at the podium. "I am here because I had the means to fight back," she declared. "Most of you did not. That is not fair. That is not justice. And that ends now." 14 victims shared their testimonies, each with 2 minutes. This resulted in 28 minutes, during which a clear pattern emerged in real time. The same location, the same tactic, the same officers. Primarily Cooper, but also Jenkins, Davis, and others. By 9 p.m., someone had live-streamed the entire meeting on Facebook. At its peak, 12,000 viewers were tuned in. Someone then launched a GoFundMe campaign, Justice for Hartwell County Victims Legal Defense Fund, with a goal of $25,000. The goal was met within 3 hours. By midnight, donations reached $47,000. Comments flooded in from across the country. "This happened to my brother. Same playbook, different state. Donating because this could be me." The movement was expanding beyond a single woman at a single gas station. Faith stood at the back of the church. As people departed, an elderly woman, likely in her 70s, took Faith's hands. Quote 7. She said, quote 8. She squeezed Faith's hands firmly. "Thank you for not accepting it." Faith realized something she should have understood from the outset. This was never just about her. It never is. Follow the money. That's the principle taught at the academy. Faith Bennett was about to discover precisely where that money had gone. Sunday morning, a private meeting took place. Faith, Sarah Williams, and Devin Taylor convened in Sarah's office, the door locked, phones silenced. Faith opened the envelope Lieutenant Anderson had given her, spreading the documents across the desk. Document 1, a civil asset forfeiture report detailing 18 months of data from the Hartwell County Sheriff's Department. Total assets seized, $1,847,000. Cash, $890,000. Vehicles, $637,000, a total of 22 vehicles. Other property, $320,000, encompassing jewelry, electronics, and any items of value. Sarah leaned forward, scrutinizing the figures. How much went to the state? Georgia law mandates that 60% of seized assets go to the state's general fund, while 40% can be retained by the seizing agency for law enforcement purposes. Faith located the distribution page. Amount reported to the state, 0. Amount retained by the department, 100%, which is entirely illegal. Quote 1. Devin stated, beginning to type. Quote 2. Faith continued reading. Quote 3. Document 2 delivered a more significant blow. Officer performance incentives. These weren't just productivity bonuses for meeting stop quotas, they were seizure bonuses. Officers received 2.5% of assets they personally seized. Faith calculated Cooper's earnings. He had seized $92,000 in cash across 31 stops over 18 months. His cut amounted to $2,300 per quarter, totaling $9,200. Adding productivity bonuses of $6,000 and overtime for processing seizures, $7,800. Ryan Cooper's total extra income over 18 months was $23,000, earned by systematically violating civil rights. "They turned law enforcement into a profit center," Sarah remarked quietly. Devin accessed his own research, cross-referencing Cooper's 31 seizures with court records. Only 3 resulted in criminal charges. 28 individuals had property seized, faced no charges, and never had their property returned. Marcus Thompson's $8,000 cash, supported by a bank withdrawal slip proving its legitimate source, was kept without charges. Regina Davis's $12,000, representing small business revenue with receipts, was seized under suspicion of activity, though charges were dropped and the money was retained. Thomas Williams' 2019 Dodge Charger, valued at $28,000, was reported by the police as having been used in a drug transaction. No drugs were found, no charges were filed, and the department kept the proceeds from its auction. The pattern was flawless and predatory. They targeted individuals with cash or valuable vehicles, seizing assets through civil forfeiture. Criminal charges require proof. whereas civil seizures do not. It was legal theft. Faith found the final document, the one that would change everything, the sheriff's discretionary fund. $127,000 over 18 months, sourced from the seizure fund for 8.2. No itemization, no approval needed. Bradley's policy, Bradley's signature. Receipts, somehow obtained by Anderson. Detailed campaign expenses, personal dinners at restaurants far from Hartwell County, and conference registrations for a beach resort in Florida. He's not just enabling it, Faith stated. He's profiting directly. Her phone rang. It was Rodriguez from the FBI Atlanta. Faith, he said, the federal investigation has just gone formal. A grand jury has been convened. We now have subpoena power. I have financial records indicating a personal profit motive. Send them now. This has just become a corruption case. Faith photographed every page, emailing them from her secure FBI account, watching the progress bar fill. Monday morning, March 25th, the FBI Atlanta field office released a statement. The FBI's Civil Rights Division and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Georgia announced a joint investigation into the Hartwell County Sheriff's Department, examining patterns and practices of discriminatory policing, improper asset forfeiture, and potential civil rights violations. The statement included a hotline number. By noon, it had received 43 calls. By evening, 68. People who had remained silent for years suddenly had a channel for reporting. Sheriff Bradley called an emergency press conference for 3 p.m. His demeanor had changed. He sounded defensive. These allegations are baseless and politically motivated, he declared. When asked about an email he sent in February encouraging officers to target nice vehicles, Bradley responded, "That email was taken out of context. Regarding civil asset forfeiture funds not reported to the state," he stated, "no comment on ongoing financial audits." His lawyer whispered something to him. Bradley then added, "Officer Cooper acted alone, without department knowledge or approval." A reporter pressed, "Your email specifically praised Cooper's performance 2 weeks before Agent Bennett's stop. How was that acting alone?" Bradley offered no response and walked away from the podium. On the local news that evening, a legal analyst commented, "When a sheriff says no comment about missing money, that's as good as an admission." Faith watched from Atlanta, back at the field office briefing Jenkins, transferring files, maintaining professionalism despite being sidelined. However, the case no longer required her direct control. The evidence was now driving itself. One was $847,000. 28 individuals robbed under color of law. A sheriff who transformed a badge into a revenue stream. The machine built to crush individuals like Faith Bennett was about to be dismantled by the weight of its own avarice. April 2nd, 2024. Fulton County Courthouse, Grand Jury Room 4B. 23 citizens would decide if sufficient evidence existed to issue indictments. Faith Bennett was determined to ensure that it did. Grand jury proceedings are confidential. No media, no public, and no defense attorneys are present at this stage. Only prosecutors present evidence to determine if charges are warranted. The standard is probable cause, not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Merely enough evidence to believe that crimes occurred. Assistant U.S. Attorney Jennifer Morrison possessed ample evidence for a conviction. Presenting for probable cause felt like using a sledgehammer to hang a picture frame, but she was thorough, nonetheless. The witness list included Faith Bennett, Lieutenant James Anderson, Devin Taylor, 4 other victims, and a forensic accountant. Evidence submitted comprised all 17 receipts compiled over 3 weeks, video footage, financial records, email chains, and statistical analysis. Faith was witness number 1. Sworn in, her right hand raised, she answered, "I do, to the oath to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth." Morrison guided her through March 15th, detailing every aspect, every violation, every documented moment. "What time were you stopped?" "Approximately 21:17. Had you committed any traffic violation?" "None. I was traveling 63 in a 65 zone. All lights were functional. Turn signals were used." "Describe Officer Cooper's approach." "Aggressive, immediate, hand on his weapon, no greeting, no explanation." The grand jury watched the dash cam footage. 18 minutes condensed to key moments. Faith's voice remained calm throughout. Cooper's escalation was evident. One juror shook her head. Another took notes, underlining something twice. Morrison continued. When did you identify yourself as a federal agent? At 22 minutes and 10 seconds into the encounter, when Officer Cooper opened my glove compartment during an unauthorized search. What was his reaction? Fear, recognition that he had made a serious mistake. Did he apologize? No. Did he provide justification for the stop? He claimed my vehicle matched a description from an earlier incident. We have since confirmed that no such incident report exists. Morrison shifted her focus. Agent Bennett, are you aware of other incidents involving Officer Cooper? Yes. 126 documented stops in the same location over a 6-month period. Juror number 7 wrote, underlining, demographic breakdown. 89% people of color in an area that is 62% white. Did your investigation reveal a financial motive for these stops? Faith looked directly at the jury. Yes. Officer Cooper received 23,000 in bonuses and seizure commissions over 18 months. The department generated 1. 8 million in civil asset forfeitures, funds that were not properly reported or dispersed as per state statute. In your professional assessment, as a federal civil rights investigator with 14 years of experience, was this an isolated occurrence or a systemic pattern? It was systemic, deliberate, and profitable. Additional victims provided testimony. Marcus Thompson, Kesha Williams, Regina Davis. The same location, similar tactics, identical patterns of financial loss. Undeniable. Lieutenant Anderson testified last, his voice trembling. 22 years on the force. He was aware he was jeopardizing his career, burning it to the ground. How many complaints were filed against Officer Cooper? 17, to my knowledge. How many resulted in disciplinary action? None. Why not? A prolonged silence. Anderson glanced at his hands, then addressed the jury. Because the system wasn't designed for his discipline. It was designed for his protection. His voice broke. I've been documenting this for 2 years, awaiting someone with the fortitude to bring it to light. Agent Bennett did what I could not. I am ashamed it took this long. The jury deliberated. 1 hour and 32 minutes. They returned. A 4-person panel concluded their deliberations. Angela Thompson, 58, an accountant. Juror number 7, Morrison, asked, "Has the grand jury reached a decision?" Thompson responded, "We have." She proceeded to read the 12 counts. Count 1, deprivation of rights under color of law. Victim, Faith Bennett, true bill. Counts 2 through 5, deprivation of rights. 4 other named victims, true bill, true bill, true bill, true bill. Count 6, conspiracy against rights. True bill, counts 7 through 9, theft of government funds. True bill, true bill, true bill. Count 10, wire fraud, false reporting to the state. True bill, count 11, obstruction of justice, destruction of body camera footage. True bill, count 12, civil rights conspiracy. Defendants, Ryan Cooper, Sheriff Tom Bradley, Supervisor Jenkins. True bill, not solely Cooper. Sheriff Tom Bradley was named in counts 6, 7, 8, 10, and 12. Morrison announced, the grand jury recommends the immediate issuance of arrest warrants. April 3rd, 10:06 a.m. Before warrants could be served, Sheriff Tom Bradley issued a single-sentence statement. Effective immediately, I resign as Sheriff of Hartwell County. No apology, no admission, simply gone. Justice is not an end. It is a beginning. 3 months after a 9-minute encounter at a gas station, Hartwell County presents a different landscape. Ryan Cooper awaits trial, his bail set at $250,000. Subject to house arrest and an ankle monitor, his trial date is September 2024. He faces a maximum of 10 years in federal prison if convicted on all counts. Sheriff Bradley is negotiating a plea deal, offering cooperation in exchange for a reduced sentence. He will testify regarding the quota system he established, the revenue targets he enforced, and the culture he cultivated. 31 victims have filed a federal civil rights lawsuit seeking $4.7 million in damages and the return of seized property. The county's insurance carrier is already engaged in settlement negotiations. Marcus Thompson will recover his $8,000 with interest. Regina Davis is in the process of reopening her business. May 1st, 2024. A Department of Justice consent decree takes effect. The Hartwell County Sheriff's Department will now operate under federal oversight. Body cameras are mandatory, with footage preserved for 180 days. The quota system has been abolished. Civil asset forfeiture cases will be reviewed by an independent civilian board. A federal monitor will be assigned for a minimum of 3 years. 89 prior cases are under review. 12 convictions have already been overturned, where seized evidence was the sole basis for prosecution. Faith returns to work. The FBI Atlanta field office is altered. Some colleagues are supportive. Others believe she politicized the issue by focusing on race when she should have handled it discreetly. Faith no longer concerns herself with their comfort. She has witnessed the cost of silence. New assignment, pattern and practice investigations nationwide. Her experience has become her expertise. Not all 127 victims came forward. Some remain fearful, some relocated, some wish to forget. But 31 declared, not anymore. Small victories, real victories. Faith drives past. Exit 160 now. The Shell station is still there. Patrol patterns have changed. The consent decree is functioning. She does not stop. She continues driving, windows down, radio playing, heading to see her mother, as she should have been able to do from the outset. The badge does not grant one immunity from the law. It mandates accountability to it. Officer Cooper forgot that. Faith Bennett ensured he remembered. This narrative is not unique. It is unfolding in counties across America. If you have experienced this, you are not alone. If you have witnessed it, your voice holds significance. Share this story, not for Faith, for those who have yet to find their voice. If accounts like this resonate with you, stories where evidence prevails, where courage is paramount, where systems can be transformed, subscribe. There are more stories to be told, more evidence to compile, more justice to pursue. Thank you for your attention and for your concern that led you to demand.